right now, and let's see how it goes. All right. Have you see all the training camp fights with the Texans and the Chiefs? Look, I don't mind a training camp fight. That means the guys are ready to go. It's been a long offseason for some of these teams, but I'm not with the sucker punches. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't with the sucker punches, bro. If you're gonna fight, let's square up. I ain't with the sucker punches, bro. I ain't with the sucker punches. Opinion on Gibbs. I think Gibbs can be a top. I think he'd be a top 5 back. I talked about this. I'm actually be dropping a running back rankings episode on YouTube. I think Jahmyr Gibbs can be a top 5 back. I don't really see the RB1 potential with Saquon, Bijan, CMC, and Breece Hall in the fold. Rachaad White or Josh Jacobs in PPR this year. I prefer Josh Jacobs. So right now I got the 10th pick overall. First off the board is Bijan, CeeDee Lamb, McCaffrey, and Tyreek Hill. Y'all fucking with the Bijan take, man. Number one, there's a lot to love with the playoff schedule, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy they drafted Bijan this year. Best pick in a 14-man league, it depends on your league, man. What the settings are, PPR, is it super flex? A lot of questions to ask, right? Right now, I prefer just having an early pick so I can get my guys. Who wins Dynasty? Marv, Gibbs, Ben Sinnott, Sinnott. Did you say Sinnott? I think it's Sinnott. CD, Rachaad White, Ferguson. I think I'd rather have that CD side. I think it's good. Dynasty. No, Dynasty getting Marv. You can't be mad about that. What do you think about JT at 7 over Amon-Ra? I prefer Amon-Ra, but I'm not too mad. I'm not too mad at it. Damn, Breece fell all the way here. So, damn, Breece fell. I'll take Breece at 10, and then I'm going to go Saquon here too. I don't like taking 2 running backs, but it is what it is. Value's value sometimes. I see you have Waddle under Moore and DK. I think Waddle can be nasty. Just curious on your rating. So sometimes in ratings too, like when you have the rankings, like if you guys download the rankings and you take a look at them, you're going to be like, damn, Jahan, I hear you talking up this player, but he's a little bit lower in your rankings, right? But sometimes you have to go based on ADP too, right? So if Waddle is being taken, like I think he could produce top 15 numbers, but I'm not going to rank him over guys, especially after his performance last year, guys that already did it. You know what I mean? So for me, I use my rankings as kind of a medium between my thinking and then also where ADP currently is. So that you guys aren't reaching on players 3-4 rounds before they're supposed to go. I like Waddle, but at the cost, I think there's some other guys I'd rather take. Should I take Mike Evans at the 2-7? I have no issue with that whatsoever. Dynasty startup rankings. Sorry, my man. No Dynasty startup rankings as of now. Right now, the rankings that are free are PPR rankings. So if you want to check them out, they're PPR. I did a top 50 and then each position as well. CMC as the 3rd pick. Look, I'm telling you, you're going to find value this year because there's a lot of people that might take Tyreek number 1. There's people that'll take CeeDee Lamb number 1. Some people are going to take Bijan number 1. Get your guy. Get your guy. In the first round, you got to get the guy you're not going to be mad at taking. Like, you can't worry about ADP. Pick your player. Thoughts on Kyren this year? I think he's in kind of a risky situation if he doesn't perform or if he gets injured, right? In that offense, Blake Corum can take over. He's got a really good backup behind him. Thoughts on DJ Moore? I think DJ Moore has high upside on a weekly basis, but I think he'll be a little inconsistent this season with the rookie quarterback. Do I plan to do Dynasty startup rankings? No. No, I will not be doing Dynasty startup rankings. I hate Dynasty as it is. I hate Dynasty as it is. Would you trade? I'll answer a Dynasty question, though. Like, if you got a Dynasty question, a startup question, and you got, like, what players should I take? I'll give my opinion on the players or draft spot, but as far as doing Dynasty startup rankings, I don't have that. That would be next year. If I get big next year, like if I'm this big super fantasy guru, then I'll have more stuff, but I'm only one man right now. Only one man. Only one man. Thoughts on Chase this year? I did a post on Chase. So for me, I think he's going a little too high. He's more top 6 than he is top 5 to me. He's just outside of top 5. There's people that think he could be the number 1 receiver. I just personally don't see it. Would you trade CMC for Bijan straight up? Yes, I would. And like I said, Bijan's my number 1 player, but I also, if I had CMC, I would ask for more. So I think in a vacuum, I would take the chance and think that Bijan would be the number 1 player. But if I already had drafted, like say I already drafted and I had CMC, I'm not trading him at that value. His value is higher than that. Does that make sense? Like if I knew I was going to be trading around and my league was actively trading, then I would value CMC higher. But me personally, I think Bijan is the player that I'd rather draft number 1 if I knew I couldn't trade for him. You feel me? Like there's a difference between trade value and draft value in your own team value. There's a difference in all those. Who you drafted the 101? I talked about this. Bijan's my number one pick right now. I haven't strayed from that. Bijan's my number one pick. I don't care what anybody got to say. Somebody said, if you have Bijan as your number one, you lose all credibility. And I'm like, why? Why would I lose credibility when I've done my homework? I know what this fantasy playoff schedule looks like. I've already taken a look at it. I know the uptick in offense. We knew what he finished last year. Why should I doubt? How should a take discredit me as an analyst when it's probably going to happen? Bijan's probably going to be the number one player in fantasy. And then when it does hit, I need anybody who's ever talked shit about it, about me saying that, to come back and revisit my page like the people didn't do last year when I talked about Ridley and Tony Pollard and Bijan last year. Godwin a sleeper? Yes. I know you don't have them right now, but do you plan on any? Not this season. Not this season, my man. Not this season. Who are you targeting in the middle of the second round? I think there's a bunch of good middle round options this year. To me, if I can get like a Mike Evans, a Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, those are guys I really like in the middle rounds this year. Jordan Love in the Packers wide receiver projection. I think Jaden Reed is going to be the guy. And then after that, I think it's a toss-up. Like there's been a lot of Dontavian Wicks talk. There's been a lot of, Christian Watson can bounce back after his hamstrings. I'm taking my guy. And for me, that's going to be, like I said, I think Jaden Reed is the guy there. Everybody else is kind of a question mark, in my opinion. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to go DK here too. I like Nico, but I'm going Cup and DK. Got a question. DJ Moore for the 5th or Murray? Why can't, is that Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray for the 12th. If it's a single QB league, I'll probably just go DJ Moore, but both of them are around the same value. If Bijan falls to the 105, take him. I think so. I think Bijan's going to have a hell of a year. I had to argue to the other fantasy creator that JT and Barkley have equal upside and better floor. Who is that? Yeah, who is that? Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show. Let him know, bruh. Let him know. Jahan, you need to speak some reason to people on other pages. It's funny because you came in last year talking about, about my values, but it's just different, different opinions. And I think some people are going to be right on their takes, and I'm going to be right on a lot of mine too. But yes, I think fantasy creators tend to like stay in this bunch and in this bundle because they're scared that if they say something wrong, they're going to lose credibility. The good thing about if you rock with me is I don't give a shit about credibility. My credibility speaks for itself. And so, yeah, if you want to fade me, fade me. If you don't like a take, you can unfollow. Some of these guys care. I don't. It's my opinion, and I've done my homework, my research. I feel very confident about my abilities in this space. So, if you want to follow. You don't want to follow, and go find somebody else that can help you win your league. All I care about is you winning your league. What players you like for a big comeback this season after a lackluster? I've talked about Cooper Kupp in a major way. I've talked about Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp has a bounce back year. Thoughts on Derrick Henry? He should be a top 7 guy. Best NFL draft player in the NFL draft. I mean, it's either got to be Caleb, Jaden Daniels, or Marvin Harrison. Achane, Rashad Pacheco, who'd you take? I don't like any of these players right now. I think Pacheco's the safest. Rashad White's probably the earliest bet to be like a top 10 back. And then Achane just has hella upside. So I like them all for different reasons. They're very similar to me. I take Rashad White out of the 3. Jahan the Legend. What's good, Ronald? How you living, dog? How you living? In Keeper League, Kyron or Bijan? Bijan 1,000% in the Keeper League. Am I wrong taking Bijan at 4? Listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you. If you would have took Breece Hall last year as the 4th running back off the board, what would people have said last year? What are you doing? That was the dumbest thing that ever happened. If you would have drafted Kyron Williams as a top 20 back last year, people would have been like, what the hell? Why would you do that? You don't know what you're talking about. If I would have came out and said, I think Raheem Mostert can be a top 10 running back in fantasy, everybody would have been like, you don't have any credibility in this space, blah, blah, blah. It's your team at the end of the day. So sometimes you got to go with your gut on players. There's going to be players you like. There's going to be players that you don't like. ADP or my rankings or anybody's rankings shouldn't be obsolete, man. It shouldn't be, that's not the right word, but it shouldn't be the ultimate, right? Like that shouldn't be how you base everything off of. You also have to trust your own instincts too. Draft players that you like. If you don't like risk, draft safer players. But I think at the end of the day, draft the players you fucking want. It's your team. You got to rock with that team, win or die. You don't want to look back and be like, damn, I didn't take Bijan because he wasn't ranked higher in the draft. You know, draft the players you like, man. Draft the players you like. It's fantasy football. It's a game, and I'm riding with the players that I believe in versus somebody else's rankings who's just like, oh, I like this player. Now, if there's somebody that like, if I start to think about something in a certain way, and I'm like, man, maybe I should have rated this guy higher, I'll change that. But my rankings are not the definitive guide to like this is how they're going to perform. This is me doing research and trying to my rankings are geared towards winning. That's it. Geared towards winning. And doing my best to win. Yeah, we're going to go Devontae Smith here. I like how this is turning out. And then we got Trey McBride this late. I'm just going to take him. We got him this late. I'm just going to take him. People who get Olave and Achane going to be upset when they don't perform how they think they are. You know, the thing is, somebody's going to be very happy with Achane and for a few weeks out the season and be like, yes, this is why I drafted him. And then there's going to be other weeks where they're like, damn. 10-player mock is so refreshing to see. All the teams are lit. Hey, in a 10-team league, all the teams are lit. Look, when you look at it, this is why I say 12 teams the way to go. If you're going to do a draft, 12-team is the way to go. Because there's so much talent out here, even still, in this round. What do you think JJ produces this year? I think he's 1,510, even with Darnold. 1,510. What are your thoughts on ETN? I believe the workload concerns because he tailed off in the last 2 seasons now. So it's all up to Tank Bigsby. If he's good, he's going to eat away at some opportunity for ETN. If he's bad, ETN's probably going to be very similar to how he was last year. Thoughts on Jonathan Brooks this year? I dropped a video on Jonathan Brooks. I think Jonathan Brooks has upside in the second half of the year, but we got to see him come back from the ACL. He's already on the PUP to start camp. He's on the PUP list right now to start camp. Would you go elite running back, or wide receiver, first and second round? I just did that in this draft, but I'm best available, right? Like, if I think there's other talent there, I'm going to take a receiver and a running back. Like, I don't really go positional to start a draft. I go by player. Like, to me, Breece Hall and Saquon Barkley both could be the RB1. Out of the receivers left, none of them really feel like they could have been the wide receiver one. So I went with the running backs that gave me the most upside. How do you handle drafts where runs start to happen on a certain position? Keep chasing value and hope to trade? Absolutely. Because guess what? When a run happens, what does that mean, right? I actually really love this question, Jacob. So when a run happens, right, say it's 5 tight ends in a row go or 6 quarterbacks in a row go, right? Right? At the end of the day, you know those teams have a quarterback or a running back now, especially in like a 10 or 12-man league, and it's only one of those positions. Are they going to draft another quarterback or tight end anytime soon? No. So you going and picking a tight end at the very end of a run, of 5 or 6-man run, doesn't make any sense, right? Because you're going to get probably the same player that you would a few rounds later. So once the run is like kind of long, it's been like 4 or 5, even a 3 or 4 positional run is gone, player run has gone. It does not make sense to take a guy. It makes sense now to take a different position. I almost never want to be at the end of the run. Like for me, I took Trey McBride here, but this was well after a lot of the other tight ends went. So like I think Teddy, who was there at the top, might have been like, damn, the tight ends are going. I don't know if a tight end's going to get back to me. He was like, let me get the upside pick that I want in Kyle Pitts, and kind of reached early on Kyle Pitts' value when Pitts may have made it back to him. Pitts might have made it back to him. But because he saw Laporta and Kelsey go, this is just my gut, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Teddy, you might have been like, damn, let me get this tight end that I want right now because I see that tight ends are going to go, and I'm probably not going to get Pitts on the way back. And to me, I think that's it. You know, there's a lot of good tight ends. Like you could have got Kittle here in this round. Pitts may have made it back to you. Like there's a lot of ways you could play that, but I think sometimes adjusting to the run isn't the right way to go about it. So that was just my thought on that and how it played out. But for positional, I would stay away from like, if there's a run happening, I got to get my guy. Just kind of go with the value and know you might get value later on in the draft. Hopefully that helps. I don't know if that helps, but hopefully that helps. Saquon has a terrible playoff schedule, just saying. The good thing about Saquon is that he pass catches too, so I'm not really worried. And Saquon produces no matter what. Shahan don't care what you think. He will give you the best odds to win your league. Exactly. I don't give a shit about what anybody got to say. I get called all kind of names under the sun. It don't stop me from putting out this content, baby. So my goal is to win. At the end of the day, if you win, I win. That's all I give a shit about. Which quarterback would be a good second option if I wait and pick Jaden Daniels? Get somebody with good floor. So I would say like a Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff would be a very good player to pair up with Jaden Daniels because Goff and Kirk Cousins both have proven they can be like top 10 guys on an annual basis, right? So say Jaden Daniels is just ass, he sucks, or he gets hurt, or whatever your concern is with Jaden Daniels. Now you have pretty good floor players with Goff and with Kirk Cousins. All right. My pick. Let's see. So far, I got Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith, and Trey McBride. So I feel really good about my team so far. There's still a ton of quarterbacks left. Joe Burrow, Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Purdy. So I'm just going to continue building out this flex. Right now, I see Calvin Ridley down here. This is automatic for me, and I've been taking him in a lot of drafts. And I kind of want to get another running back right now. And I think I'm just going to take Aaron Jones at the value right now. I think this is good value for him. So full team so far as the 10th pick in a 10-team draft. I got Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith, Trey McBride, Calvin Ridley, and Aaron Jones. Let me know what you guys think. Yo, appreciate you, Teddy. Re-upped, baby. Re-upped. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, dog. Let's see. I missed a couple. I'm back here. Where did I go? Okay, right here. What stat line are you expecting for Drake London to end the season with? If he was around 1,209, I think that'd be an average season of what I'm expecting for Drake London. I think he has potential for a lot more than that. But if he was at like 90 catches, 1,200 to 1,300 yards, and like 10 touchdowns, I kind of think that's where Drake London's going to be. Kind of around like where we expect Mike Evans to be. Hey, big fan, I have the 8th pick in a 10-man league. Should I get Garrett Wilson over Jettis? Absolutely not. Take Jettis. Good draft. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, somebody spammed the chat, and I went all the way down to the bottom, so sorry. How do you feel about going elite quarterback first round in Superflex? I don't like it personally. I like getting quarterbacks later. I tried it the other day with Anthony Richardson, and I hated how my team came out. So I'm more along the lines of getting value quarterbacks later on that I think can be like, I think Trevor Lawrence can be a top 5 to 7 quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels can be a top 5 to 7 quarterback. I'm going to go look for those guys for 3 of those players instead of chasing like Josh Allen at that. I think it's just so much more value if you can get an RB1 or a wide receiver one that's just locked in, especially if you have 3 wide receiver spots. Recap your picks for us. When it's my turn, I'll recap them again. Kirk, Pickens, Ridley, full PPR. Give me Pickens, then Ridley. They're in the same tier. And then Kirk after those guys. For the upside, Pickens probably has the most upside. Like, somebody asked me about Pickens the other day. And George Pickens, bro, like, George Pickens to me, he had 1,100 yards and, 4 touchdowns last year? 63 catches or something like that? I want to say those are the numbers. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure those are the numbers. Now, imagine he's just a little bit better this year. And we're talking like 1,300 with like 8 touchdowns and like 80 catches. That was like Brandon Ayuk was 73 catches, 7 touchdowns, and 1,300 yards last year, and he was a top 15 receiver. And George Pickens is going outside of the top 25 receivers right now. Do you think George Pickens can get an extra 200 yards, an extra 15 catches, an extra 4 touchdowns? Hell yeah. So that's where I'm at with him. I'm just like, there's a lot of value, in my opinion, with George Pickens. He's one of those players I feel like I have to get. Almost like I have to get George Pickens, man. I'm going to draft Kyler. I think this is good value for him in the 10th round. You guys agree with that? Agree with that on Pickens? Mixon over Pacheco? Yes, I got Mixon over Pacheco in PPR leagues. How high would you draft Kamara in a 10-man? Probably 3rd, 4th round. I always get quarterback too early. You're right. So the tight end, you can feel a run happening. And sometimes you're like, I got to make sure I get my guy. But the thing is, if you really think about it, you probably have multiple players who you think can perform at that range. So, I think, and especially if you could find another position player like a running back, wide receiver, sometimes you'll find a little bit more value if you do that. Cousins loves his tight ends. Kyle Pitts is a great pick. I'm not hating on the pick. So to say, like, you know what I mean? I'm not hating on the pick. I'm hating on the fact of like going after the run and what it does for your team. Now, what it does for your team is different than like loving the player. If you just have to get Kyle Pitts, then reach on him, right? This is the time to get him. But there's another player, I promise you, unless Kyle Pitts is the tight end one, there's going to be another player who's comparable. Maybe they're off by 20 points. That's probably going rounds later. Somebody is saying that about Dalton Kincaid right now. I think he could be the tight end one. Somebody is saying that about Trey McBride. I think he could be the tight end one. There's somebody else with the potential of almost every single player that we've drafted. So that's going later. So I think, like, you know, I get getting your guy. I don't mind that. But I'm also saying, like, don't let the run influence that, especially when Kyle Pitts' ADP is after McBride and Andrews. I think he was going to be there. It happens. It happens. It happens. All right. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the new subs, all the new follows, guys. Everybody hitting the like button. Thank you guys for supporting me. I really do appreciate it all the time. I'm trying to get to as many questions as possible today. We are doing a draft. Let's see. I got enough time to do one more. Can we do another 10 team? Does that work? Another 10 team? I'm gonna do another 10 team. Can't find the rankings. They're on Autograph. You have to follow the fantasy football tab when it asks you to pick a team. Follow the fantasy football tab and then check your rewards. It'll be in there. King Brett, appreciate you, bro. Since 2 QB league, I have the second pick. Who should I take? Depends on who's available, right? I think grabbing a position player is better this year. Especially if your league is like known to take all quarterbacks, unless you know you want Josh Allen, or unless you know you want Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson. If you want one of those guys and you feel like you can build it, cool. If not, just take Bijan, CMC, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. Like, get the positional players because the quarterbacks are tending to fall this year. Thoughts on Trey McBride? He could be the tight end one. If you spam, I'm less likely to answer your question, bro. Just being honest. Just being honest with you. JT or Barkley, I got Saquon. Pickens or McLaurin, I'm going Pickens. If you spam, I'm less likely going to answer your question. So try to ask it once, bro. What's your favorite spot to draft in a 10-man league? I don't really care. I'm going to be honest with you. I got Breece Hall at the 10 spot today. I would have got Devontae Adams there in a lot of leagues. So honestly, I don't care. Dang, I missed the post. Was working. We drafted again. Yeah, we will draft again. I'm going to draft one more. I just can't rate the teams today. Normally I rate the teams. I'm working with a very short clock, so I'm not going to be able to rate the teams today. Let's go Cortland here. Let me try to find another backup. I really like Brian Robinson here, but I'm going to go upside because I like my guys. Blake Corum. So my team, I think this is the last round, right? My final team, you guys can tell me what you think. In a 10-team league, I got Breece Hall, and this is drafting from the 10 spot. Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley. At running back, I got Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith, Trey McBride as my wide receivers and tight ends. At the flex, I got Calvin Ridley. And then also have Aaron Jones as the bench for my other running back. For upside, I got JSN as my fifth receiver. Kyler Murray is my starting quarterback. Cortland Sutton and Blake Corum round out the lineup. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what y'all think. Happy birthday to the guy in the second pick. Is that your birthday? Is that you? Is that your birthday? Is it your birthday? Or is it really his birthday, or y'all just talking? How much consideration do you take strength of season for a player? I don't. The strength of schedule for a player, I don't know. I more so look at fantasy playoffs because everybody, if you think about it, has tough matchups. Sometimes players go down, right? Like for defenses. So sometimes the starting cornerback might be out, or sometimes the defensive lineman might be out. And then the defense isn't as good as anticipated, right? So if you're thinking about strength of schedule for every player, it's not going to work. I look at fantasy playoffs, and if there's maybe a couple bad matchups, especially weather-wise, or like maybe I'm just like, damn, those defenses, there's 3 back-to-back just tough defenses, then I'll look at it. But for me, it's not an overall, like, I'm going to bump you down because of that. But I will, I will try to find value where I can with players that have strong schedules. If Cup Mounts is back, that team is stacked. Yes, I agree. It's tough having him as my number one, but I'll take it. Mark, what's good, bro? What's good, Mark? How you living, dog? Kyler and who at quarterback? I only got Kyler. There's plenty. There's Trevor Lawrence is still available right now if I really wanted to pick him up as my backup. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, they're all still available. Justin, I'm in a situation. Talk to me, man. Talk to me. Appreciate you, Mark, as always, dog. Glad you're back for another year, homie. Would you rather send Olave or Tank and DJ Moore for Tyreek? What? Send Olave for Tyreek or Tank and DJ Moore for Tyreek in a dynasty league? I probably send win now. I'd probably send Tank and DJ Moore because DJ Moore is on the wrong. So he's what 29 right now. Tank's probably more of a wide receiver 3. At least Olave, you got a good wide receiver 2/3 for the next couple of years with Tyreek. So